Hi everyone, my name is Laramie Freeney. I am currently a senior at Oklahoma State University, and today I'm going to be sharing with you all my methods for scheduling the remodel of the fifth floor of Engineering North. For this project, we're looking at a 14-month long duration, not including the pre-construction stage. Starting with the pre-construction stage, I determined that in order to begin demolition by June 1st, we would need to begin the pre-bid phase starting April 18th to allow sufficient time to complete not only the pre-bid phase with a duration of 11 days, but also bid day, contract execution, and the demo submittals, leaving just enough time to obtain demo permits and licenses before the scheduled start date of the project. Next, we have our caps and our applications. This is how we get our demo permits and make sure that we aren't getting any dirt in our lines. Now, those two very different things, but they're both very important in this stage of the project. On this slide, you can see here is an example of a capped sewer line. This isn't only to keep the sewage in, it's also to keep dirt and debris out as we begin demoing around the existing conditions. We also have a demolition permit, which in most cities needs to be filled out and filed at least a week in advance to ensure you get permits back in time to start the project. Now, moving on from our pre-con, which is our first step, obviously we need to mobilize to the site. We're getting all of our equipment out there, our connexes, our job trailers, computers, everything that we're going to be needed is starting the project, but that's just getting out there. Our next step from there is we need to verify the existing conditions, locating utility lines such as water, gas, sewer, or electric, and setting up all the necessary safety barricades and signage around the job site. So, obviously we've got our PPE signage, wear your boots, hard hats, safety vests, that kind of stuff. Getting all of that set up is crucial if you want to have a safe job site. And it does take a little bit of time, and that is one reason it is a huge predecessor to actually starting work. You can see here from the bar chart I created that mobilization's predecessors include all the pre-con steps, and then mobilization becomes a predecessor to the general contractor's due diligence on the actual job site before construction begins to avoid any costly mistakes such as hitting an unmarked line. Now, taking a closer look with my Microsoft project, we can start looking at all the predecessors, or in other words, activities we must complete before we can pour concrete. Many times in construction, it is ideal to plan around concrete as it's the most time-sensitive activity because of its cure time. You don't want it sitting in the trucks too long. There's no mistakes can be made with concrete. But before we can pour, we have to install the sleeves for all penetrations that will go through the slab. They need to be installed and capped so that concrete doesn't get inside them. This will allow us to run things like plumbing, gas, electric, and etc. through the slab even after it has been poured. And once we get our slab poured, placed, and finished, that allows us to start laying out framing and MEP pathways. And as soon as that is completed, we can begin interior framing, which will in turn release plumbing rough-in and electrical rough-in. The big reason behind that is interior framing is a predecessor to the rough-in because these trades will be using wall studs and framing to either pull measurements off of or begin routing their materials in, around, or even through the framing, which can turn into a disaster, but is also crucial to have the studs and everything there for them to pull measurements off of, align their pipes, and kind of gauge where things need to go. Sometimes things don't always go to plans as the drawings show, so studs being in the way can affect that, so having that as a predecessor is pretty crucial. Once roughing is complete, that allows us to install insulation around everything that has been roughed in. Once insulation is done, we can begin covering it up with the specified sound attenuation blankets, which is also a predecessor to drywall. Since drywall will be going over the outside of our sound attenuation blankets, we want to make sure that it is a predecessor the same as wall insulation is a predecessor to sound attenuation blankets. They all start from the interior of the wall and work their way outwards. Now that we have drywall with blocking behind it and our utilities roughed in, it is a good time to begin thinking about positioning different trades in different areas so that they aren't overlapping. You don't want too many guys in one area. So, for example, you don't want electrical in the bathroom at the same time as plumbing. They're going to have ladders strung out everywhere. They're going to be stepping on each other, and neither crew is going to be happy or very efficient. So, by positioning different trades in different areas, we can avoid the overlapping and furthermore plan ahead. I decided to make plumbing fixture install a predecessor to the bathroom partitions so that the plumbers have enough room to do their job efficiently. Keeping trades organized and the site clean is a crucial part after we've reached this halfway point in the project. Another thing to think about, it's not only trades in the rooms. Sometimes you also have things like these partitions, and that's one reason that the fixtures are a predecessor to them. It's way easier to hang toilets on the wall when you have more than a 3-foot area to do it in. Now, a good general rule of thumb is to always save carpeting until the very end, as it is extremely hard to clean and to keep clean. But that also means we're in the home stretch and won't be making any more messes, hopefully. Along with no mess, a final clean has to be completed, but not before the punch list and test and balance on the HVAC. Now, test and balance is a pretty crucial part that you have to save to the end, or at least until you have all of your windows and doors in. So we have quite a few predecessors to test and balance. Getting the interior framing done, the interior doors, and etc. Even the furniture can have a small effect on the test and balance, so waiting till the very end of the project is a pretty good idea when it comes to test and balance. You can have doors that don't close because the building has too much pressure, or you have doors getting sucked closed because there's not enough air to fill the void in the building. Hopefully this was helpful, and thank you guys for watching.